Have you ever seen a moment when the toughest people in the room, the ones who've trained their whole lives for combat, suddenly fall silent because of one calm response? That's exactly what happened the day a Navy SEAL commander requested a combat pilot, and the woman who stepped forward left everyone speechless. Stay with me till the end, because this story will show you what true composure looks like under impossible pressure. And before we begin, don't forget to subscribe, because we bring you powerful, untold stories that you won't find anywhere else. It began in a forward operating base carved into the dusty mountains of Afghanistan. The air was thick with tension. An American convoy had been ambushed miles away, pinned down by enemy fire. The SEAL team stationed at the base was ready to move, but they needed air cover. Without it, the mission was suicide. The commander, a man who had seen 20 years of combat, stepped into the command tent, his voice sharp and steady. "We need a combat pilot. Now." The room went quiet. All eyes shifted to the roster board. Most of the available pilots were already engaged in missions. Fuel was low, weather was worsening, and time was bleeding out. Every minute wasted meant lives lost on the ground. The commander's gaze swept across the room, landing on one name. A name he didn't expect to call, but desperation leaves no room for doubt. That name belonged to Captain Rebecca "Falcon" Hayes. Rebecca wasn't just any pilot. At 32, she had logged thousands of flight hours, but her reputation carried more weight than statistics. She was known for her eerie calm in the cockpit. Where others felt panic, she found clarity. Her fellow pilots often joked she had ice in her veins. But even with that reputation, what the commander was about to ask of her was unlike any mission she had faced before. He stepped forward, eyes locked on her. "Captain Hayes, I need you in the air. Now." The room waited for her reaction. They expected hesitation, maybe a flicker of doubt. After all, this wasn't a standard sortie. It was a rescue under fire, with no guarantee of survival. But Rebecca didn't blink. She didn't even shift in her chair. She simply asked, in a voice so calm it sent chills through the room, "Where do you need me to be?" And just like that, the entire command tent fell silent. The SEALs stared at her, stunned. Even the commander paused, taken aback by her composure. In the middle of chaos, she radiated control. Minutes later, Rebecca strode across the tarmac toward her jet, an F/A-18 Hornet gleaming under the desert sun. Mechanics scrambled to prepare it, loading precision bombs and checking fuel lines. She moved with quiet focus, slipping into her flight suit like it was a second skin. To outsiders, she looked almost detached, but those who knew her understood. This was her zone. The SEAL commander watched from the edge of the runway, arms crossed. "You don't have to do this alone," he said, his voice carrying over the roar of engines. Rebecca adjusted her helmet and glanced back. "I never do it alone, sir. I carry all of you with me." With that, she climbed the ladder, slid into the cockpit, and pulled the canopy shut. The world outside faded, replaced by the hum of controls, the glow of instruments, the rhythm of her own heartbeat syncing with the machine. "Tower, this is Falcon 1. Request immediate launch clearance." Falcon 1, cleared for takeoff. "Godspeed." The Hornet roared down the runway, lifting into the sky with the grace of a predator. Clouds whipped past her canopy as she climbed higher, her mind already painting a mental map of the battlefield. Radio chatter filled her ears, desperate voices from the pinned convoy. Gunfire crackled in the background. Time was running out. "Falcon 1, this is Eagle 6. We are surrounded. We need air support now." Rebecca's voice came back, calm as ever. "Copy that, Eagle 6. I'm en route. Hold tight." As she descended toward the valley, tracers streaked the sky like angry fireflies. The enemy had mounted heavy anti-aircraft weapons, daring her to come closer. Most pilots would have circled, waiting for backup. But not Rebecca. She pushed the throttle forward, diving straight into the storm. Her calm response earlier hadn't been bravado, it was who she was. Under a sky lit with gunfire, she lined up her first strike with surgical precision. "Fox 3, she whispered, releasing a missile. The explosion lit the ridge, silencing one of the anti-aircraft guns. Cheers erupted over the SEAL's comms. "Falcon, you're an angel in the sky." But Rebecca wasn't done. She weaved through the valley like a dancer, dodging enemy fire with impossible grace. Each maneuver was deliberate, every strike measured. To the SEALs below, it looked like chaos. To her, it was controlled rhythm. By the time her last missile struck, the convoy had an open path. The SEAL commander's voice cut through the radio. "Falcon, we're moving. Cover R6. Copy," she replied, her voice steady, almost soothing. The ground team pushed forward, but the enemy regrouped faster than expected. Dozens of fighters poured down from the ridges, determined to crush the convoy. Rebecca banked hard, unleashing her cannons in controlled bursts. Each shot cleared space for the SEALs, buying them precious seconds. Fuel ran low. Ammunition dwindled. She knew she couldn't stay much longer. Yet abandoning them wasn't an option. She checked her gauges, exhaled slowly, and whispered to herself, "One more pass." Her Hornet screamed through the canyon, engines howling, bullets streaking past her canopy. At the last second, she pulled up sharply, releasing her final payload across the enemy line. The ground erupted in fire and smoke, giving the SEALs the opening they needed. "Convoy secure," came the call. "Falcon, you did it." But the mission wasn't over. As she climbed, alarms blared in her cockpit. One engine had taken a hit. Flames licked at the fuselage. She fought to steady the Hornet, her hands moving with mechanical calm. Panic could kill her now. Calm was her weapon. "Falcon, eject," the commander shouted. Rebecca's reply came steady, unwavering. "Negative. She's still flying." Through smoke and failing systems, she coaxed the Hornet back toward base. Every mile felt like an eternity. Finally, the runway appeared, shimmering in the desert heat. With one functioning engine and landing gear that barely deployed, she brought the bird down hard, skidding across the tarmac in a shower of sparks. When the jet finally stopped, silence swept the base. Then the canopy opened, and Rebecca climbed out, helmet tucked under her arm, face streaked with sweat, but eyes calm as ever. The SEAL commander stood waiting, arms folded, a rare smile tugging at his lips. "Captain Hayes," he said, his voice low but full of respect. "I asked for a combat pilot. What I got was a warrior." The SEALs who had returned from the convoy walked up, battered but alive. One by one, they saluted her, not because protocol demanded it, but because she had earned it. Word of the mission spread quickly. To some, she became a legend overnight. To others, she remained the same Rebecca Hayes, quiet, disciplined, unshaken. But to the SEAL commander and his men, she would forever be remembered as the pilot whose calm response turned despair into victory. Later, in the mess hall, one young SEAL approached her nervously. "Ma'am, when the commander called for you, weren't you scared?" Rebecca looked at him for a long moment before answering. "Fear is natural, but calm is a choice. And in the sky, that choice keeps people alive." Her words carried farther than she realized. From that day on, every young recruit who trained with that SEAL unit heard the story of Captain Rebecca "Falcon" Hayes, the pilot who flew into fire without flinching, whose calm response left battle-hardened warriors speechless. And that, my friends, is the kind of story we need to remember, not just for the action, not just for the danger, but for the reminder that true strength is not loud or boastful. It's calm. It's steady. It's the kind of strength that saves lives. If this story inspired you, don't forget to subscribe right now, because we share more stories like this, stories of courage, sacrifice, and the kind of composure that changes everything.